Alright, y'all, so I'm trying something a little different with the camera. Something I know what I'm do. Uh, this is a 2006 Hyundai Sonata, and it been wrecked in the front. So prior to this, I bought a hydraulic puller. I don't know if that's the proper name for it, but it puts a hydraulic pressure so it can pull from one side to the next. And I used it on this car for this passenger side frame rear. Um, so with doing that, it did pull over a little bit, but I kind of tried to cut a little piece and weld it in, and it did. I welded it in, but the pieces still won't line up. So what I'm finna do now is I'm gonna drop the motor out through the bottom, and I'm probably after that I'm gonna section the frame piece and take it out, and then slide another piece in there and weld it in. But while I'm doing it, I'm gonna measure. I was measuring the first time, and it seemed like it was a little off, but I thought it still would fit. But when I tried to line the radiator support up, it wouldn't fit. So that's what I'm at now. I'm gonna try to keep the camera on while I'm doing it, so y'all can see the process. And I see people fast forwarding through the parts where they're actually doing the work. And I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm pretty sure it's something I can figure out. All in all, I can always try to edit it and make everything sure, because I know I just want to see nobody, doing the work. Therefore, anyway. So I'm gonna start with now I'm finna raise the lift up. I'm finna get it ready for work and move all this stuff out the way. I kind of got the stuff in the way. Not a lot of stuff, but I got stuff in the way. So I'm kind of gonna do that and see what happens. And when I get it set back up, then I'll let y'all in on it. Strong enough to remove the motor mount bolt. Motor mount bolts that go here, and this one loosened. They 17 millimeter, and it's too tight. In order to remove the motor, you gotta undo this motor mount right here. So what I'm finna do now is go get my 1/2-inch drive and remove this bolt right here because I need a stronger impact for it. So when I get my impact and I get it back on, I'll turn y'all back on. Well, this is kind of the damaged frame wheel that I was talking about on this side. You can tell it's damaged because of the way the piece is moving out of here. Like I said, try to keep all your stuff together. So, this engine mount off. I'm gonna set it to the side. And you got it. Let's see. I think this side clear. I'm sorry, y'all, just catching the end part of it. I've been doing this for a while, this motor for a while anyway. So, I already took the trans mount out. So it's out the car. So when the subframe drop, that's gonna drop with it. Now I'm gonna undo the struts. Cause when I drop this unit down, the struts gonna come with it. So I'm gonna undo the passenger and the driver side struts. So I'm gonna do the passenger first. Should be a 13 or 14 millimeter norm. It's not a 14, so it's bigger, so it may be a 15 millimeter. Yeah, 15 millimeter. I think I changed these one time before. Been a long time ago, so I don't even remember. I'm gonna leave the strut bolts right here because I know I'm finna, when I pick the car up off the frame, the strut bolts still gonna be on the body of the car. So I just come back after I remove the engine and push it behind the car. Then I come back and put these bolts on so I memorize it. Already started to go down a little bit then because all this is one unit. Everything bolts to the subframe. And I'm checking now to make sure I got it. This the computer wire harness right here that you can disconnect. And you know, you take off all your, well, as you can see, there ain't no front clip on here. I already removed all this stuff. All your wiring, make sure all your wiring disconnected and out the way. Make sure ain't nothing on the body connecting to the frame of the car. I mean, well, to the subframe. Yeah, to the subframe. And from where I'm looking, it looks like I'm good. Make sure the transmission cable ain't in the way, and any hoses. The racking pinion and all that stuff is gonna go anyway, because it's gonna come down with the car. So that's a whole nother story. But this car been wrecked, but you can't really see it. I marked. I'll try to get close up if I can. I marked the subframe. I mean, the racking pinion, the intermediate shaft. I'm gonna let y'all see that. I'm gonna get the camera. Trying to do now. I'm trying to break the intermediate shaft loose from the safety shaft that's on the racking pinion. so it can drop down. Okay, so it started to drop out. So I'm probably gonna hit it a couple more times. I don't have to break it all the way loose because when I drop the racking pinion, it's gonna break it loose all the way from there. Alright, so I got it down far enough. So now what I'm finna do, I'm finna go back up underneath the car and I'm gonna loosen up everything else that gotta be loosened up. Plus I'm gonna get the pallet jack. So when I undo the subframe bolts, the last of the subframe bolts, they can just drop straight on top of it. Alright. By this car having so much rust underneath, I had to keep the exhaust intact. So the only thing I did was I disconnected the exhaust bushings, and the back ones had some screws that was holding the exhaust bushing to some brackets. So I just undid the brackets. So those was able to drop. So once I undo this bracket in the middle right here, just holding this exhaust up, it's gonna be hanging down. Therefore, when I drop the whole subframe, the exhaust gonna come with it. So I'm finna get the pallet jack. I'm probably have to move the camera around, so y'all bear with me. That should be good. So what I'm finna do now is undo the bolts is holding the center of the exhaust in the back, so it's gonna start dangling down a little more. But it should be okay though. If it ain't, I'll just put them back up, and I might just have to crawl in there and undo that. I don't plan. Dangling down there. So really just like the last steps I gotta do. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this bracket back up here so I can remember where, you know, where the screws in the bracket go to. You don't have to use the impact to put them back up. You can just hand tighten them. They don't have to be tight. So now this taken care of. It's time to take this. Once I take the subframe bolts loose, and that'll pretty much be the engine be coming out. So I'm gonna set it back up and I'll turn it back on when I'm about to do that. Now basically what I'm finna do, the last remaining bolts, the 19mm go to the subframe. I'm gonna go on the passenger side, disconnect them, and I'm gonna go on the driver's side, disconnect them. Then when I come back, well, you might see it in the video because it's already moved out the way now technically. So it'll be sitting on top of this pallet jack. It's not quite in yet. But once it falls, I mean, it's gonna be like a shift, but it'll be a slight shift. It's not gonna fall far, so that's fine. Just make sure you got something under it. It don't have to be a pallet jack. It can be a lift cart or maybe a pallet you made or anything like that. now too, it's a brake line still connected over here. So I'm glad I seen it, because if I would have dropped it without that, it would have probably ripped the brake line off and you would have brake fluid. But now I'm gonna take the brake line. I had some puts already made that can hold the brake calipers. And I'm finna turn it off and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna try to find one and keep it home. I'm gonna try to make them one real quick and I'll turn y'all back on. Alright, so I don't have no half-inch extensions, so hopefully I'll be able to get the last two bolts holding the subframe. This one actually got 3 bolts on the subframe. You got one in the back, one in the front, and you got one between right here that's right behind the strut. And it's also a 19 millimeter. So I'm gonna try a 3/8 drive with extension with 19 millimeter, and hopefully it'll get it. But if it don't, then I may have to go get probably a ratchet or something, or maybe a breaker bar or something. I'm gonna try this. So that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna go get my half-inch breaker bar. It's not a real good one, but yeah, hopefully it'll do the job. And then hey, we'll go from there. I hope that'll get it though, because I don't even have no short. I got deep well half-inch sockets. I don't have my short well, and I don't have no extensions because I don't really use half-inch too much. So hopefully I'll be able to get it out with the ratchet and just the deep well 19 millimeter socket. But like I said, I'm gonna go get that and set it up, and I'll turn y'all back on. Another thing, what I can see, what I'm probably gonna try before I do the breaker bar, it's the stabilizer link. Yeah, maybe you can see it, maybe too far away from the camera. It's a stabilizer link that's right here. And if I move that out the way, it may give me a little more room so I can get the half drive in there. Let me try this. More than likely, it's probably a 17 millimeter. Most bolts a lot of times 17 millimeter. This one is not. It's not a 17, maybe a 19. Or even a half Sonata. This one is 18. Back. So it's not too long, so let me try. So my short sockets. I'm gonna go around and loosen the other one up, and that'll be able to pivot the sway bar link, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna turn y'all back on. So I loosen the other side up, and now I can move the sway bar for the most part. So it may work out, it may not. I'm thinking that, like I said, I don't have no extension, so I'm not gonna be able to use the impact. So I'm gonna have to use my arm strength. More likely. Yep, now I can even get it in there. Yep, it's not long enough. So, if all else fails, you always got the good old arm strength to help you. So, that's what they used to do in the old days. They didn't have all the modern technology like you do. So it's coming loose. Once you get it to where to move freely, you can go in there with your electric ratchet. Well, if you have electric ratchet, you can go in there with your electric ratchet and drop it down. Ooh, it's hard. Making do the wrist with a 19mm short, maybe. I don't have one. I think I got one in the house. Yeah. But before I do all that, let me see if I can get the 19 3/8 in there. I don't think I can though. Nope. Still can't do that maybe. The only thing I can get in there is the ratchet. The ratchet is only 35 foot-pounds. It's 3/8 drive, so it's not really strong enough to break bolts. Some it will, maybe engine bolts. But when you're dealing with metal and stuff like that, it's not gonna break none of these. See, so it's still too much for it. So I'm gonna have to improvise. Anyway, when I get them loose, I'll cut y'all back on. So really, that was my mistake. What I should have did before I dropped the front one, I should have took off the back one first. It would have been easier. But I got them both off now, so all I gotta do is raise it up, and hopefully ain't nothing catching up nowhere. Like I said before, you want to make sure any brake line or any connector, any wire harness, anything, any ground that you didn't see when when it was in the engine. I mean, in the engine bay. You want to try to make sure all this stuff ain't catching. I'm gonna let it up, but I'm letting it go slow. Now this is the first time I've done on lift. Prior other times I used 2 jacks to do this, so it's a lot easier with a lift. But you can do it with a pallet. With a floor jack too. That's that shift I was talking about. So now what I'm gonna do is go and make sure there's nothing real. Alright, so we're good. I'm gonna go over it. still gonna have to verify this on another car. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna attempt to move the engine. That's why the person of pallet jack so I can move the engine. And it may be easy to move, and then again it may not be easy. What you want to try to do is to make sure that you at least getting the spindle and the lower control arm off the ground. That'll make it a lot easier because you don't want to be dragging. Now the exhaust is gonna drag because, like I said, it was so rusty. So see, so what I'm gonna have to do is I'm probably gonna have somebody to get the back of the exhaust while I push it up, and then we can just do it from there. Or I may even try to attempt to loosen the exhaust since it's out the car, and I'll be able to do a better job with it being at the car like it is now, versus I can see everything. But as far as the frame wheel I was talking about, I'm gonna lower it back down so y'all can see. But it's the part I welded in, and I'm thinking that this is probably the factory bend, I'm assuming. I was trying to verify with this side, but if you see, this one made different on this side. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be that way or not. I'm gonna have to find out. Anyway, it is bent out of shape and out of place, so I'm gonna have to find that out. And let y'all know, I may go ahead and try to take this frame wheel out today. It's starting to get hot now. I tried to come out here early and get it done while I was still kind of cool. Anyway, you got seam sealer. It seals right here. So it's really where it starts at, right here, where it ends. It connects to the body. Right there. And you got tack wheels all the way around here. And all the way around here. So it's gonna be a lot of tack wheel drilling. I'll probably drill this off first, maybe. And as I can see, it's weak now. I can tell the difference in the strength. This one is more sturdy than this one is. Probably because I cut into it and I've been pulling on it. And like I said, I'm not sure if that's factory. I don't think it is because that's a hell of a bend right there. But let me lower it back down so y'all can see a little better. I know it's up a little high. And what I'm doing now, releasing the lock. This one you gotta actually manually release the lock. Manually release the lock. So I'm gonna let it down so y'all can see what I'm talking about. All right, so basically what I'm saying is I'm gonna turn it off and then I'm gonna get y'all closer so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about. So basically what I'm saying is this actual part right here, I'm not sure if you look, you can see how it's going in at a slant right there and then coming out. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the factory the way it is, but this side of the frame where I wasn't really attempting on doing. I was gonna actually, this is a two. Well, it's probably a triple piece. But anyway, it's a piece. It has tack wheels here, and then it got seam sealer right here. So I'm gonna take this seam sealer out the way, and I'm gonna move this engine mount, and then I'm gonna attempt to take a section of this rail out. Probably it's about right, I don't know, maybe somewhere in here maybe. I tried to look up factory of what they suggest for sectioning, and I couldn't really find nothing. But I did find a couple of guys on YouTube who was saying they was sectioning them somewhere in this area right here. So I'm gonna attempt to do that. This is my first time doing this. I've been watching this for a year. I'm a trained technician, so removing engines and doing all this stuff really isn't nothing to me. But this is like a new field to me. So the mission is to actually get this frame wheel out and replace it, and then put everything back together so I can be able to line the motor up. As you can see, like I said, it's way weaker, and I did weld this piece in. It's been out in the weather now. I kind of tacked it in for the purpose, and it's real strong. It's not going anywhere, but at the same time, I can tell the weakness in this rail. And if you see right here, you can tell when it got hit, it unbucketed right there. So the apron may be damaged also. So what I may have to end up doing, I may have to take the apron out from the same sealer. It'll be right here, and undo it from this and take it all the way out in that part right there. I may have to do it like that, I'm not sure yet. Like I said, they say the best experience doing this is when you know you have to do it and learn it. So that's what I'm gonna attempt to do. And based on what time it is and the heat, gonna determine what I'm finna do this today. Cause I still got a lot of, I still got a lot to do, cause this is really gonna be a job here because, like I said, I gotta do all this drilling. So what I'm looking at, undo these tack wells here and they here, and I'm pretty sure under this same so there's probably some more tack wells. I'm gonna have to beat all this stuff out. And first though, I'm gonna have to get the engine moved out the way. So this may be the end of this video, I'm not sure. Or I might say the rest for the next video. I don't know. But if it is the end of the video, I'll give y'all updates in the process I'm doing this. Like I said, I had possibly already taken this out anyway, because at the time we had another car that was exactly like this. That's why I got the frame wheel piece from right there. And I only cut this section off because at the time I was inexperienced and I didn't know the way you're supposed to section it. So that's the only thing I had. So I tried to rig this to work, and I was gonna go back over it and weld it in better. But once it didn't line up, it was just a further that I need to even. I've also pulled it more, but now it's gonna be weaker. But you have to be careful because it can be so weak that you can mess up the structure of it even worse than it already is. So I got to be careful with that when I actually chain and get ready to pull it, because I'm gonna do that again too. I gotta buy some chains today. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish this today or not. We'll see. Like I said, if I turn the video off, then y'all know it'll be the next video I make and you'll see it. But anyway, I know y'all tired of me talking now because I've been talking for quite some time. But you got any questions or comments, you leave them at the bottom and I'll try to get back with y'all. All right, peace. This is really at the end of the video, but I'm probably gonna put it in the beginning of the video because this is more of an outline of so far what I've done. This the engine out of the Sonata. Like I was saying during the video, this is the pallet jack I used to remove the engine. And basically the only thing that's happening is the engine is sitting on the pallet jack. That's really it. And I got the whole assembly down. I'm gonna get closer so y'all can get a better idea of what I'm saying for those of y'all who ain't never seen it like this. So basically this is the drivetrain. That's the transmission down there. You got the struts, you got the spindles, you got your brakes, you got the subframe, you got your wiring harness. You pretty much got everything sitting on the subframe. That's why I said earlier it bolts to the subframe. You got your lower control arms, you got axle shafts, you got pretty much everything sitting right here. And I used some old rubber gloves I have to kind of cover up some of the stuff that can get rained in. I'm probably gonna put a cover over it. I'm gonna have to go buy one to put it over there. I don't have one right now. I got an old cover. I may use that one for today, just to cover up the engine. But I don't have one like a tarp or anything. Those are all torn. And it's the rear of the engine. Well, it's technically the side, but on the front wheel drive, it's the back. It's the side that faces the firewall. And you see your power steering pressure hose. I still pretty much got everything intact. And I had to remove the pump, and I had to remove the power steering line. I did have to remove the AC compressor lines. And you can look right there, I got one I'm still on now. And I got a glove blocking on the hole in there. I'm still gonna evac the system when I put it back together anyway, because it's just part of the procedure. And it's the exhaust. Now, I'm still not exactly sure how I'm gonna do this. I may separating this before I go back in with it, make it a little easier, or I may not, I don't know. That's basically the whole exhaust stuff. All the way back to the exhaust tips on both sides. You got both of your mufflers, you got your resonator, and you got your catalytic converter. So that's basically the way it is. Some people ask, is this something that you can do at home? I'm doing it at home because this is my house. And I got the car lift. I mean, you don't need a car lift, but I have one because I wanted it. So with that being said, on a scale of 1 to 10, is this job difficult? Yes. But I've been removing engines I've told this story before, but some of y'all may not know it, but I went to school and I enrolled in automotive technology in 2012 at a college called Tennessee College of Applied Technology, which is basically a trade school. And I went to school I enrolled in 2012, and I finished I enrolled in 2013. I'm sorry, I enrolled in 2013. I finished in the December of 14. I finished. And that does help out a little bit with this type of stuff. But I've seen a lot of guys who tell me they've never been to a school or they've never had training, and they remove engines and do all kind of stuff to cars all the time. So I think it's not a matter of schooling; it's just a matter of what you want to do and what you're willing to learn while you're doing it. So this is basically, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it is a difficult job and definitely would be hard without the pallet jack and um and the car lift. It'd be more difficult. But like I said before this, I used 2 jacks and I bought a piece of plywood. Well, a wide piece of plywood. I bought it from Home Depot, and I bought some rolling wheels, and I drilled the rolling wheels onto the pallet, and I dropped the engine on there. But the problem with that, it didn't sit up high enough, so when I came in with the motor puller and I was trying to pull the engine, the legs of the motor puller couldn't go under the pallet. So that's why I got this, because with this setup, I can actually go behind it and I can pick it up, even though I can't pick it up in the front because the pallet jack is in the way. See what I'm saying? But then again, I really could, because you can slide, let me see, get the camera in the right spot. You can slide the feet under the pallet jack right here and leave the pallet jack up and hook the chain up. This engine actually has points where you can latch the chain up, so this is easy to take out right here. So you got one here and one here, so you can pick the whole engine up easily with this. Now you do have 2 lower mounts that's on the engine, and you just have to remove them, and then the motor come up. Because you ain't got number 4 mounts. You got one in the rear, one in the front, and you got one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. And the one on the passenger side is transmission mount. And the front one is kind of like more of a trans and engine mount, because it's bolted up to the block and it's bolted up partly to the transmission, so it's kind of intact in both of those. Some people who are more experienced may not have to move the engine to repair the frame wheel like I'm doing. Like I said, this is my first one. Now, on the previous build on my channel with the FX35, it actually had pieces missing, and I did drill the tackle wheels out, or the spot wheels out, and I did remove the metal pieces, but it wasn't bent. Somebody just had, their truck was, I bought it stolen, so somebody had cut that piece off to put on their truck. So the only thing I had to do was tack the pieces in that were missing. So that's a whole different scenario. So that's a little better than this. This is actually where you're dealing with what the car was smashed in, and I had to physically pull on it, and which I haven't pulled enough. In the next video, I'm gonna be pulling in some more. But you're gonna have to get it to a certain distance. You have to measure it. You're really supposed to have a thing called a tram gauge, to where you can get better measurements. I use a tape measure, so I may have to buy a tram gauge. When I was looking online cheap, when I seen $200, I think that's ridiculous for it's just a ruler with points on it, really. I may make one, but I kind of hate making things because I always feel like they're cheesy and they're not giving me the best results. So I may end up just getting it probably before I do this. I know I got to go buy a chain, because the chain I had was too small, and that may have been why I couldn't pull it to the best of my ability. And I'm gonna use that white Mercedes truck right there, because it got hooks on the front, and I'm gonna tie a chain on it. I'm gonna put it in on the side of this car, and I'm gonna tie a chain to it, and I'm gonna tie a chain to the frame, and I'm gonna use that hydraulic pressure puller, and I'm gonna see how far I can pull it over. Now, I have heard some people say you're supposed to have something in position of the subframe, because the subframe right there, it'll bend it too far, and the subframe won't be able to bow back up. So what I'm gonna be doing prior to that, I'm gonna have to remove the engine off of this, and then I'm gonna have to back out. I know you probably can hear the air hitting the back of the phone. Let me try to turn it down real quick. I'm trying to speak this little loud word out. I think the last of the video got kind of messed up because the phone was getting ready to die. And I didn't know, I just seen it flash, and that's what it was. So this is officially the last part of the video. And basically, to sum everything up, what I was just simply saying is that I removed the motor to replace the passenger side frame rail, and that I was gonna be cutting it out, and also buying a chain, probably from Harbor Freight or Home Depot or something like that. Because the chain I had at first was like a smaller chain, and I was able to pull it because I got a hydraulic puller. It does pretty good, believe it or not. It actually, it's like I don't know if it's 5 tons or 500 pounds. I can't think about what it is. I don't have it with me right now, but I'm gonna get a chain, and I'm gonna use that white Mercedes truck that was in the video earlier to hook it to. And hook the puller between both of those, and I'm gonna try to attempt to pull that frame rail a little closer over. And I may be buying a tram gauge. I think I said that too earlier. But anyway, I was letting y'all know this what happened. And I'll let y'all know. Well, y'all will see it part 2 when it comes. But this is officially part 1. And part 2 coming soon. Alright, y'all take it easy and have a good day.